Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check 1 2 1 2. Can anybody in the chat hear me? I don't know if it can. Okay, y'all can hear me. Is there an echo? Let me know if there's an echo or something like that, or if there's some kind of feedback in the background. Or do I sound distant? What's the quality of the sound? On a 1 to 10 scale, 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, what's the rating on the sound? All right, let me turn it down a bit. How does it sound now? All right, all right. MOT says perfect. Mr. Benevolent says great. All right, since y'all can hear me, man, let me start it off. Welcome back to the Black Brain Trust. This is open chat number 40. Please hit the like button as you come in, share the video if possible, hit that notification bell so you get all the updates from the Black Brain Trust, including those posted on the community tab. If you want to get on the panel and engage in the conversation, there'll be a link in the chat for you to click on. You click on the link and you're in the waiting room. Just raise your hand so one of us can acknowledge you and we can bring you onto the panel. So last night, just before the economics hangout, I broke my wireless headset, which is my office headset. And so that's why the live stream started late. And it's still broken. I can't do anything about it right now. It's a piece of plastic that holds the headset together, and it's not working at all. So I had to go out and get something a little bit more professional, and I got this. Let me share my screen. So I picked up the Audio Technica podcasting kit or podcasting pack. So this is what I'm using right now. I had to go out and get a 2-channel mixer for it. That's why I'm asking you guys, how do I sound? What kind of feedback I can get so I can understand what levels I need to set. What's going on, MOT?
Hey, what's up, man?
I'm chilling, man. I'm chilling. So yeah, I spent a little bit of bread today, man. I had to get this. I was kind of sick and tired of using the Office headset. It does make my voice sound really a bit effeminate and a little bit beta. So now that I got this, man, I don't even know how I sound.
It made you sound non-select before. Now you sound select now.
Oh yeah, this is a select setup for me. Yeah, I like this, man. This is really tight, man. These are noise cancellation headsets that come with it. And the whole setup looks real professional in my dining room. So definitely recommend it. You can see right here, it got 4 stars out of 5. So I wasn't even looking for it. I was actually looking for a cheaper one, and they brought this out for the same price. And I said, okay, I'll take this. This was the only one in stock, so I just took it.
So is that USB? Is that plug-in?
No, this is an XLR setup. So I had to go out and get a 2-channel mixer USB, plug it into my one USB port. So I plugged in the XLR components into that, and then you can make the adjustments and whatnot on it. So the computer just recognizes it as the mixer itself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what's up, man. I'll drop the link in the chat if anyone else is interested in that. But yeah, let me get straight to the point because I don't want to waste too much time. So I saw this article early this week, and I decided that we're going to have a live stream on it. We overran last night's time, so I didn't get a chance to go into this. But I'll do it now. This is an article from techspot.com. YouTube can now delete accounts that aren't commercially viable. WTF, considering starting a YouTube channel? Maybe you already have one or are trying to add to your subscriber base. If so, here's some potentially worrying news. The video platform says it now can ban users it deems no longer commercially viable. The strange rule appeared in YouTube's new terms of service, which it emailed to users over the weekend. It appears in the account suspension and termination section under the terminations by YouTube for service changes subheader. The exact wording of the new terms set to come into effect in the US on December 10th reads, YouTube may terminate your access or your Google account's access to all or part of the service if YouTube believes in its sole discretion that provision of the service to you is no longer commercially viable. The changes to the terms to the TOS are supposed to make them clearer and easier to understand, yet they've had the opposite effect for most people. YouTube's ability to delete accounts just because they are not profitable enough is obviously worrying a lot of creators. As noted by Gadgets360, one Twitter user at Rage Golden Eagle notes that these terms have been in effect in the European Economic Area and Switzerland since July 22nd. YouTube claims that it's not changing A spokesperson said, "We're making some changes to our terms of service in order to make them easier to read and to ensure that they are up to date. We're not changing the way our products work, how we collect or process data, or any of your settings. The terms of service, the terms could be a way for YouTube to remove your channels that promote hate speech, conspiracy theories, or harmful messages whose content isn't extreme enough to warrant an outright ban.
There you go.
As
That's
these
the
are
statement.
as these are unlikely to be commercially viable. But if this is the case, it needs to be clearly explained. You can read more about the update terms and conditions on this lengthy Reddit thread." So why I'm reading this is because this affects the manosphere. Okay. We talked about this a year ago with fellow Brain Trust member C Boogie. C Boogie talked about this last summer that there has to be some quality control in the manosphere. And we agreed as well. And we had discussed this even in early 2018 when we started the Brain Trust, that there has to be some kind of quality control, some form of compliance. And what's happening here is that what we predicted is now coming to fruition, that YouTube will drop the hammer on channels in the manosphere. Content creator on content creator attacks won't be tolerated. Not commercially viable content won't be tolerated. So all this stuff about what you see in the manosphere right now, Manosphere 2.0 is dead. It is absolutely dead. If they can't make a profit off it, they don't want it.
It's a bit more sinister than that, Mike.
Yes, sir.
All right. I had an attorney look at it.
Mm-hmm.
And he also watches YouTube as well.
Mm-hmm.
Not really the black sector, even though he's black, but he does pay attention to black tech stuff.
Mm-hmm.
What he said pretty much, now I'm just going to throw out names. And these names, the views and opinions of Man Tomorrow are not the views and opinions of the Black Brain Trust.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What they're trying to do is get rid of unsolicited, unlicensed professional dating coaches. Because all those people get a bunch of views. They don't run any ads, but they take all those views and they turn those views into actual money outside of YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
So what YouTube can do is to be like, since you're running all these, and this isn't just for dating coaches. This is for like AMS, like I'm talking about big people in different areas. AMS, the Cult of Dusty, Terrence Pop, like people who get hundreds of thousands of potential views per video, but they're not running ads on their videos. So what they do is they're taking that stuff to Patreon. So they're turning all their YouTube views into Patreon money, but YouTube isn't running ads on their content in the United States. So what they're trying to do is stop people from coming to YouTube, saying ridiculous things, getting the audience, and then monetizing that audience without YouTube making ad revenue off those people. So these people think, oh, well, I can't get banned because my stuff isn't monetized. Incorrect. They just fixed that with this. So it doesn't matter whether your stuff monetized or not. Like, let's give an example. Obsidian. You know, he's on Mixler and he put like clips of this stuff on YouTube. Now, it still gets a couple thousand views per clip. But they could just say, hey, man, your product is not commercially viable because you're not allowing ads to be ran on your stuff, and they couldn't run ads on it anyway because of what's in it. And so they could be like, boom, we can shut your channel down, even though you give views. See, what they're trying to do is they're trying to stop YouTube from being a go-between from certain types of materials that they don't like. like I said, they could do this stuff to anybody. But at the end of the day, this is a very convenient way of being able to shut down anybody's channel for any reason. So all these people who think that, oh, my channel's not monetized, I can say whatever I want to, they just remove that with this update. So now your information or your channel, no matter whether it's commercially viable or not, is going to be judged by the commercially viable standard. So that's what's going on with this. So now they have absolute control to delete your channel no matter what you're talking about. And I'm talking about, it's not just this stuff. It said in the name. Conspiracy theorists and all kinds of other stuff. Like a lot of stuff get like a lot of views, but they deliberately decided not to monetize their videos. So that way they could take those people from YouTube and bring them over to other platforms. YouTube isn't receiving money off of that. So what they want to do is be like, look, if your content isn't commercially viable, why would they allow you to build an audience and make money off of it if they're not going to be able to make any money off of it? Period.
At the end of the day, we tried to move in a different direction from how the Manosphere 2.0 was.
And you know, this is why I run ads on my video. So that way I can see what I can say and what I can't say. And also I have a repository of all these people who run ads on my channel. So if I wanted to move my stuff to another platform, I have 1,000 different people who I can go to who've been running ads on my stuff before.
Well, the thing is, there are people who pay for YouTube Red or YouTube Premium, so they don't see the ads. Right? We don't see the ads if we're paying, right? I have a YouTube TV account because I like to watch NFL and NBA while I'm in transit. So we don't see the ads. So like you said, this might be a little bit more sinister, but I'm saying, how does this impact the Manosphere? The Manosphere will be impacted by your most popular channels. Your most popular content creators will be the first ones to get the guillotine.
Sure.
They'll be the first ones to get the guillotine. Fortunately for us, we don't get a lot of views, and I like having the channel.
But this is not what this is not about this. Like I said, there are people like, you know, I'm gonna use AMS as an example. Most of his videos are not monetized at all, but the amount of revenue that he makes on Patreon, YouTube is not getting any of that revenue that he gets for himself based off of them pretty much hosting his, information online on their platform. So he's taking those people from there and turn them into Patreon. So if he doesn't turn his quote unquote ad revenue on for some of his videos or a lot of his videos, they could just ask him and be like, look, you are quote unquote commercially not viable.
So what does this mean to the universities, right? The universities put out content that's not...
They're not going to do that to universities. Okay. They're doing this to people without power. Yeah, they're doing this to people without power and people who don't have... They know most of these people, if they get shut down, they won't go after getting their channel back. Like Willie D had to get an attorney and pay a lot of money to get his 1 million subscriber channel back. They know most people in the black sector or any sector of YouTube pretty much isn't going to do that. So this is just a cheap way to be able to knock people's channel off. And this is why, whether I agree or disagree, this is where people should back up their data in case they do want to go to a website after something like this happens. I mean, because, you know, the Thomas Sotomayor's, you know, a person who they would quickly do it to.
Yeah, but we have been talking about this, even with Lowcast. Shout out to Lowcast. We've been talking about this for about a year or so, that a new a manosphere platform or a Black platform needed to be created. And I think that you have two platforms. I think it's called Black Spot, and the other one is Black Avenger.
Yeah, Black Avenger TV.
Right. So my thing about Black Avenger is that, you know, some of the content that's posted on there is not consistent with our values. But how this affects everyone else, man, is going to be very interesting, because we had already determined that the Black Brain Trust was going to have to make a transition 9 months ago. We already made that determination back in February. So long before this policy update even came out, so we had already started testing out new platforms and coming up with new sort of viable alternatives. And we're still kind of trying to determine where we're going to go, but this is, for us, you know, this was our only platform. We never really invested a whole lot of money into this. If you want to count this podcast and pack as an investment, then go ahead. But we don't have a whole bunch of graphics and, you know, intros and stuff like that, and outros and commercially viable ads and stuff like that. We don't have all that type of stuff. We kind of just ran it very nonprofit like.
Correct.
And we haven't had any issues unless somebody had reported us, falsely reported us for content violations and stuff like that, service violations. And we fought those early in the year and got our channel back. But
that's what it's about. Mm-hmm. It's trying to make people build their own audience their own way. Mm-hmm. If the stuff is not quote unquote commercially viable. Mm-hmm. So pretty much you can't come on YouTube, say a bunch of ridiculous stuff, get a big ass following, and take like 2 or 3% of that and turn it into money. That's what they're turning off. Mm-hmm. They're not allowing you to do that. Mm-hmm. I mean, you know, since they're going to be the gatekeeper, they're going to be putting some limits on how you can grow on YouTube. That's what this is about. Limiting the growth of non-commercially viable stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like I said, this isn't siding with anyone or not anyone else. This is just what an attorney's opinion is on why would they do this, mm-hmm. or what would be the sinister intent of being able to kick people off without them violating the terms of service. Mm-hmm. They could just use the excuse of commercially viable mm-hmm. now. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I think Facebook has some similar policies now as well. So.
Oh no, I mean, you know, once one person does it, it's already circulated amongst all the companies. They use all the same policies, damn near.
Well, because they're a digital monarchy, right?
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah, they're a digital monarchy, so they're kind of talking to each other in the background without actually putting it out there that we're like the Five Eyes, right? You know, Australia, Canada, United States, Britain, and France and whatnot. So, but yeah, this is Let me make sure I drop the link in the chat. Yeah, this is where we are, man. We saw this months and months ago that this was going to come. And we told a lot of people to clean up your channel or else this something like this is going to happen. And I guarantee you by Thanksgiving, someone's going to get the axe. Someone is going to get the axe by Thanksgiving. They're going to go
it's probably like New Year. You know, they probably gather like a whole list. Well, like as soon as the New Year start, all these people ain't go down no damn channel.
Well, they already went after Press TV. Press TV was the first ones to get the axe. So, and I think there's another channel recently, last week, that got the axe as well. I'm trying to figure out right now. I should have
Jason
wrote it
Black
down.
had his channel, I think, in some type of status, and he got it back. But other than that, not sure.
Well, they've been going after Jason Black for a while now, on different platforms, not just YouTube. So, you know, he went on IG, they went after him there. Went on Facebook, they went after him there. So, what I'm saying here is that his is a little bit of a special case, but you have random channels that are just having people having their subscribers unsubscribed,
I
notification
know.
bells unchecked, things of that nature.
You know, it happened to me.
Yep.
But I look at my channel, it's like 8,500, and then it'd be 35 something, 8.35, and then I look back again, it's like 8.4. I'm like, why would they be unsubscribing and undeleting people? Because they say, quote unquote, that they go through and they remove old accounts. I'm like, look, this is a new channel. This is a channel less than a year old. So why would people be subscribing to the channel and then deleting their YouTube account? Like that doesn't happen. But you know, it's what they do. You know, so
Yeah. Yeah. Let me go to the chat because I see a lot of comments coming in. Yeah, Cocaine Kel says private videos as well. So some people think that they can hide their videos by just putting it on private. No, it's not going to happen, man. They're coming after that too.
like I said, non-commercially viable stuff. That's what it is. Because you know, like Patreon and all that kind of stuff connected to your YouTube account, so all your private videos get uploaded there. Like, yeah, that's what they're going after, man. They just don't want you making money outside of YouTube, however you make it. And it's going to be those people who have Patreons and other type of donation and all that kind of stuff. Trust me. Once you start saying donate here, donate there, you're liable to get the axe if your stuff is not, quote unquote, commercially viable and they're able to run ads on nearly the same videos that you put on Patreon.
Yeah, and even StreamYard, they will eventually jack up their prices too, if it's going to be profitable for them, right? If they see that it's viable, they're going to jack up their prices.
Yeah, I mean, but they can't go too much anywhere further from here, unless because you know if they go any higher, I'll just get Zoom. Because Zoom is a superior product. Because you know I'm on the $20 a month one, but it's just like Zoom is just a superior product. And if they start tripping, you know, people can go to something, you know, Zoom, you can give them a call. I don't think you can call nobody at Streamlabs.
Yeah. Well, you could talk to people through
chat.
Their chat, you know.
I mean, but you know, release a damn viable product rather than keeping stuff in beta and collect the money off of it like a beta.
Cocaine Kel says, Tube Filter estimated the lack of personalized ads could cut revenue by up to 90% per video. Interesting. Didn't know that. Zone 559 says, well, it costs Google billions a year to keep video on YouTube. And if they can't make money, then they want to remove those videos to reduce costs. I foresee that they'll charge people to actually use YouTube as a content creator.
Yeah. Why wouldn't they? I would charge.
Yeah.
I would charge like $2.99 a year.
Yeah, because it'd be like a pay-per-view sort of deal.
Yeah, I mean, I even said that they should charge for Google Hangouts. I would have charged for it. Dude, listen, man. I would have charged them like $20 a month and everything stays the same. Boom. They would have been able to get like an extra $750, $800 million a year just off of that.
Yeah. Zone 559 says you guys have 1,000 plus subs. Why not monetize the channel? Because when we built the channel, it didn't have that. So we initially started the channel with just 150 to 200 subs. And we didn't think that the channel would actually grow from there. We thought that we would be around 200. Will said 500. We ended up at 500. From 500, we went to 850. From 850, we went to 1,000. So the way the channel was set up, it wasn't set up for monetization, and we did not want to get involved in the financial aspect of
I mean, you know, it's
YouTube. So we wanted to keep the channel very nonprofit like, so it could be genuine, because this is us actually utilizing our time to actually create this sort of space, because that's initially what we wanted in the first place. So money was never a factor for us. Jamal Williams says Tariq is going to be cut.
Oh yeah,
which
Tariq. Oh
is
man.
why he
Yeah.
trying conferences out, lectures. Well, Tariq has multiple streams of revenue. He multicasts as well. He doesn't just use one platform. He's never done that before. He's always had multicasting enabled. He used to use Ustream back in the day, and then he went to Blog Talk Radio and so on and so forth. So he's always multicasted. So that's never been an issue. So he has way too many streams of revenue coming in, so it's not a big deal for him. They've taken him out twice in the last 2 years, so it's not it's not new to him. He still has to touch the super chat money. He said last year he said he had $25,000 super chat money he hasn't even touched. So
I mean, you know, he used that money to go get an attorney and get his channel back. That's what he does. Not a big deal. You know, it's just the cost of doing business. It's smart. Yeah, but a lot of these people got a lot to worry about, especially people who do all this beef stuff, and they kind of take the videos down immediately after the stream's done. Those are the people who they really going after, man. Hello, you still there? Mike, I don't hear you. There we go. You back?
yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now.
Okay. Yeah, I think the USB port went to sleep on me or something like that.
Oh man, see, man, that's why if I be in front of a computer, man, I'm about to get a plug-in one. But I
Yeah,
have like a wireless USB mouse that does that sometimes too, for no
yeah,
reason.
yeah. It's phantom powered, so it does that. In the chat, they're saying they can't hear us.
They can
Okay,
now. Let's give
okay,
them a second
yeah,
because it delays like 15 seconds. So
yep.
yeah, man. So that's what pretty much that they're gonna be doing.
Mm-hmm.
But like since Tariq is diligent in getting his channels back or paying the requisite money to talk to the people to get it back, yeah, what it is that people who put like a lot of stuff, who start a lot of stuff and then take the streams down and all that kind of stuff. The people who say way ridiculous stuff on YouTube because they think, well, my channel's not monetized, it really can't hurt me. Those type of things.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. I saw the updates come out last week, and I decided I was going to do a live stream on it. But I was like, let me gather some more time and kind of read it over. I didn't want to spend a whole live stream just reading over the guidelines because it kind of echoes a lot of what we had already been saying before.
Yeah. So that whatever TV channel that did get X, did they release a statement like outside of YouTube about their channel on YouTube?
Mm-hmm.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Hey, what's
How
going
are
on,
you?
Paul Bryant?
Hey, what's up?
MOT, how are you?
Hey, what's up, man? What's going on, Paul?
Good, bro. Traveling.
I see a little bit of sickness doesn't stop you from traveling.
Absolutely not, bro. Shit, I got better and went over and saw another friend over in Lisbon, Portugal.
Okay.
So, yeah, man. So between the traveling and about the past week now, I've been talking to several people about these changes to YouTube, man. Noticing some very interesting comments in the live chat, and I'd really like to kind of largely second and echo much of what MOT has been saying. So people are thinking apparently that YouTube will start to out and out target specific people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, while that is always there, you know, you have to take a step back. So if your channel is not, when they say non-commercially viable, you know, MOT told you, not commercially viable to YouTube. So if you come on, regardless of what you're saying, whatever your political, personal, or religious viewpoints may be, you come on and you're getting hundreds or thousands of views and you have Patreons, YouTube isn't getting that money and you're not running ads. So the way YouTube sees it is you're getting a free lunch off of their dime. So what they're saying is, well, listen, we will now take your channel out. Now, as with anything else, can that be used to target others? Absolutely. Can they say, well, your content is not commercially viable? Absolutely. But how is that in any way different from what YouTube has been the past several years anyway? So um, the way I see it, and according to other people who've been on YouTube 5 years, 10 years, 12 years, in one case, one person who I spoke to, it's more so and largely, they're looking to get rid of the people who make money off of YouTube, but YouTube isn't getting that money.
Yeah.
So now, will they target other
Bingo.
people? Absolutely. But if so, you can come on and you can spout whatever you spout, whether I personally agree with you or not. But if YouTube isn't making money off of you, they're looking to get rid of your account. But if you let YouTube make money off of you, then you know what? It's probably business as usual. Okay.
Yep.
So for certain people who will not be able to read between the lines of what I just said, you know what? Listen, that's about as far as I'm going to dumb it down. But that's what it is. Now, I've also said, and I've been telling you, Mike, since last year, I've been saying this. YouTube clearly wants to become a content provider and a content creator, much in the same way that Netflix is, or Hulu is, or now you have Disney Plus. So if YouTube has too much content to offer commercials, so that means they have to go the pay route. Now, our people are going to be unwilling to pay a monthly subscription for YouTube service. Now, you have YouTube Red, granted, but I don't think that's enough to be a largely viable solution. So another solution, people who are making money off of their YouTube channels, like Patreon or whatever apps.
Coaching sessions from websites. If you sell a
Exactly.
book of any kind, all
Exactly.
that stuff comes into play. And trust me,
Exactly.
they can see it all.
They see it all. They see it all. Because someone in the chat asks a question, well, how does YouTube know how much people you have on Patreon? The same way that you can go and check, YouTube can go and check also. And the same way that that person or other people brag about their Patreon, YouTube can see that as well. And also, even if they do not know the exact dollar amount you're getting from your Patreon, they can see that you're getting hundreds or thousands of views, and that money is translating into Patreon money, which YouTube is not getting. It's that simple. Because remember, money makes the world go round. The number one motivating factor for everything on this earth is money. It's really just that simple. It really is.
YouTube makes a lot of money from sports and entertainment as it already is.
Yep.
So I think the content creation aspect is just a
Icing on the cake.
It's their version of like independent films and stuff like that. So what I'm saying here is that they were already making enough money. I think they pulled in $165 billion, I think last year or something like that. Let me make sure I'm right about this.
But Paul, but also under the guise of being commercially not viable, they can automatically just take people's channels out for beefing too much or starting too much stuff or
Exactly.
griefing the entire process. Yeah, they can use
Exactly. Right. Right. Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. Because at the end of the day, as you well know, everything is when it comes to a business, you always have to protect yourself legally. So if the day ever comes, you can walk into a courtroom and present a plausibly denial defense.
Yeah. So they
Yeah.
don't.
So a lot of you guys, as you said, all this beef and this nonsense and these 12-hour hangouts back and forth and forth and back over nonsense and yelling. Listen, YouTube can easily say, you know what? Commercially non-viable, you are out of here. So going back to something that has been said in the Black Brain Trust for months, at some point the playing field will be leveled. It absolutely will. And you will more than likely start to see more and more of that. Will there be an Armageddon type of clearing? Honestly, I'm not prepared to say that, but I wouldn't be surprised if you will see people's accounts slowly go away.
I mean, but there's certain types of channels they'll go after. So
Oh,
they're
yeah.
not going after. I mean, like most of these people in this black sector, like most of them aren't really safe, man. Like most of these people aren't really intelligent enough to be coherent enough to even be considered commercially viable.
Absolutely, they aren't. Facts. When you're yelling and screaming and every other word out of your mouth is profanity, and you're talking like slavery ended yesterday because you want to keep it Wakanda, come on, just stop. You totally lack the ability to intelligently express yourself. Then you know what? You very well could be gone.
Yeah. Yeah. I always figured that the Black Brain Trust would be isolated from a lot of that stuff. That's what we tried to do over here.
I mean, but news-based stuff, they're not coming after that. You don't do anything.
Well, we've been flagged twice. We've been flagged twice. So it's not like we're untouchable or invincible. What I'm saying here is that we tried to move in a way that would avoid or deter them from swinging the guillotine at us. But some of these other guys, some of these other content creators, I personally think that somebody in the manosphere is going to get iced out. It's going to get iced, by Thanksgiving. They're gonna do it by Thanksgiving. Somebody's going to get iced. We have a backup channel too, so we're not really concerned all that much. We're not concerned about that. But moving to a new platform is something that we do have ambitions on doing by mid 2020, late 2020. So, and then we won't need YouTube at all. We already have our following. I think where we are right now, subscriber wise, this is it. Anyways, we're no Marquise Brownlee. We're not going to have 8 million subs. This just doesn't. That's just we have a different sort of audience. So we're not really. 99% of our audience is male. 44% Gen Xers and 33% millennials. I think like less than 18% Zennials and 1% are boomers. And I think the other 1%. No, it's true. And the other 1% is now female. We now have 1% female.
Yeah, but something, and I well, listen, I'll just say whatever. I have a habit of pissing on black people regardless.
Mm-hmm.
Vast majority of channels, and I mean the vast majority of channels on YouTube, I think you really need to pump your brakes. You're just not that important. What you're saying just isn't that relevant, and it isn't that important. It's self-important in your minds. I can probably name a couple of channels that will probably fit that mold, that will probably be at cut off, but unless you're, unless you are the worst of the worst, okay, you're doing 10-hour hangouts and you're walking off on screen to go and urinate, or you have sticky buns, behind you, things like that. The rest of it, really just not as important as what you have to say think it is in the grand overall scheme of things. That may sound effed up to say, but if you take a dispassionate, objective view, it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but I think I just saw that O'Shea did an actual video about let me share my screen real quick so people can see what I'm seeing. This is what I'm looking at right here. O'Shea did a video on this, I think some time ago, said Instagram could be removing likes and Nicki Minaj is pissed. So it seems like that's the strategy all across the board. Yeah, that seems to be the strategy all across the board where they, this is kind of a harassment, take away that like for you, kind of like in the suburbs where mailboxes are getting bashed, in the middle of the night, man. Just, you know what I mean? Like you come out in the morning and your mailbox is down on the ground. So it's like.
Well, Mike, listen, a teacher who was also a mentor of mine my last year of high school, he who controls the dissemination of information controls the masses. So there it is. The internet is replacing the television the same way the television replaced the newspaper, replaced the radio, the same way the radio replaced the newspaper. It's the same thing, controlling the hearts and minds of the masses. They believe everything they see online. Their entire
Trust me,
lives.
man.
What is that?
I mean, trust me, man. Like everybody got their own dugout corners. Like I was trying to tell a person about the impeachment, and they just refused to believe it. Why? Because it didn't go through FoxNews.com that says, so I don't believe it. Okay, all right, man. All right, man. All right.
Hey, Cocaine Kells. Cocaine says Instagram has already started removing likes on posts in the US, an experiment which it has already been testing in 7 other countries. Do you know the reason as to why IG would do something like that? Like, IG's audience is radically different than YouTube's audience. So I'm trying to understand what the viability is for them to do something like that.
I mean, I have an Instagram account. I would never take it seriously, but yeah.
Well, I'll say this. Something I found out way back in I found out firsthand way back in 2013. So that even as something as simple and benign as Netflix, depending on what country you're in, the content available to you changes. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So at that time I was working I was working on the other side of the planet. Well, this side that I'm on now. So, I got on a plane and I was watching a movie. 9 hours later, I'm in the airport for a layover. I get on another plane. I finally get back home and I walk in my door. Netflix is telling me not available in country of origin. I'm like, I'm home. I'm American. So 8 days later, I go back to work, another 20-hour travel day. Boom, movie pops right up and restarted exactly from where I had paused it 8 days prior. So I say all that to say, it's the same thing like when I'm over in Germany, I get everything HBO through Netflix a day before you get it in the US. So if they're doing it, why wouldn't every other online provider do the same thing as well? And it all comes back to controlling what you see, which controls what you think.
Yeah. I mean, when I flew to China, same thing. I was watching this documentary, and half probably 75% of the documentaries, I thought there was something wrong with Netflix because it just kept loading and loading and loading.
Right.
And I'm like, man, where all the damn documentaries go? Yeah, man, like half of that stuff you can't watch in China.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this probably a month or so ago, maybe a month and a half ago at best. And we talked about the emergence of the continent coming online and the necessity to actually create a platform that represents melanated people. A new Black Planet needs to emerge because Black Planet originally was actually really popular. So
Dude, I don't know nobody who was blacking on the internet who didn't know what the hell Black Planet was. Everybody knew that. Everybody. You also knew not to date nobody off of there either, but yeah.
Well, bro, see, now you're showing your age. Showing your age now. So right now, this is the 40 and over club now.
I still want my earthly email back.
CompuServe.
Yeah. Look smart.
Yeah, this is big stuff according to Cocaine Kells. But yeah, this is gonna be interesting, man. I do see that this is going to drive us to create our own platform. There is no other alternative to this other than bow it out. And we didn't come this far to come this far. So I foresee that there's going to be a lot of independent development happening for each content creator. Everybody will choose their own path. But I do think that there will be a demand sometime in 2020 to create a new Black Planet sort of platform.
I mean, because if you look at it, I mean, all this stuff is becoming really one all-in-one type of setup. Each year, a hosting package. You look online, they offer all this stuff that you used to pay hundreds of dollars for. Now it's like pennies a month. So, yeah, being able to have like an all-in-one site that does that. I'm shocked that there isn't even a company that's out there doing that yet.
I would have thought that, yeah. I would have thought that somebody like Byron Allen, who has the money to actually do something like this, would have actually done it. I mean, these are the guys in media, right? Bob Johnson and so on and so forth. I mean,
Wait, Mike, come on, bro. Really? Seriously?
What?
Byron Allen and Bob Johnson? You didn't really just throw those names out, did you?
Why not?
In all seriousness.
What not?
Because, all right, listen. Byron Allen. Byron Allen and Bob Johnson are as black as the blackface that Robert Downey Jr. wore in the movie Tropic Thunder. Okay. Anyone who has observed both these gentlemen through time and through history understand that. Now, I take nothing personal. I don't care what either of them do. But if anyone thinks that either of them do things for the so-called, quote-unquote, benefit of Black people, you are deluding yourself. So with that in mind, they will do what is in best interest for their pockets as long as it aligns with certain agendas. and that is definitely not doing anything to help, which is not my thing either, but at least I can admit that.
Okay. I mean, you really can't help Black people, man. And they'll turn on you in a heartbeat and mess up your stuff. Like, yeah, man.
No, I listen. I don't let any listen. If you think that I'm gonna allow you near my business and my money and my partner's money, and you can't even express yourself intelligently, then you're absolutely out of your mind. Okay. But so do not look for Byron Allen or Bob Johnson to do either of those things, because BET, which I stopped watching a long time ago, many moons ago, beige entertainment television is just BS. So with all of that said, if you look at the moves that both of those gentlemen have made, that should tell you where their mindsets lie. Okay, so a person like Robert F. Smith has actually done more to actually look to help someone who's Black, and he is definitely not pro-Black. So you would get more benefit from a person like that before you look to someone like Byron Allen or Bob Johnson.
Yeah.
You know, but again, you know, the I'll stop there because I'm going. I'll leave it alone.
Well, see, we're in a what we call PWA, progressive web applications era, and your browser becomes a host for apps now. So you don't even need to install it from the app store, because what's going to happen in the app store is that they're going to start eliminating apps that they deem uh, hostile or just violating in violation of their terms.
Mhm.
So the point that I'm trying to make here is that I think this is a perfect time for Black people collectively to actually look at this and say, if they're going to be doing this to us, where do we go? And how do we go beyond a website? How do we go beyond the website? Because when Black Planet first started, and even at its demise, it was just a website and that was it. There was no app base to it. There was no progressive nature to it. It didn't really transition to anything else. Where it started, where it died at. So
Right, and so the thing, you really, really want me to start going there, but I'm not really trying. I'm really trying to be easy, but let's look at Black Avenger, and I don't know how that is able to operate, not asking for money up front. And I don't know whether the individual who created it does or does not. My point is, there was not and has not been a mass exodus of Black content creators away from YouTube over to Black Avenger, something that was created for Black people by a Black person. So to think, I have to, I understand your sentiment, Mike, but I disagree in that what you would like to see happen will happen. Namely, Black people collectively getting together and saying, well, since this has happened to us or is about to happen to us, where will we go from here? Based on history, that is never going to happen, which is why you never hear myself say things like that, because I already know what it is. See, hope is a dream. I don't deal in dreams. I deal in absolute facts. So hoping, wishing, and dreaming in a blanket will keep you warm at night.
yeah, Black Gnostic is in the chat. He says, it was going on Black Gnostic. He says the internet speed is fast enough now. In the past, it wasn't. That it's not about internet speed. It's about the progressiveness of the application itself. If the website is not optimized for mobility, then it's going to fail.
Exactly.
It's going to fail. It doesn't matter about the internet speed.
Exactly. It's it's a case of, yeah. I mean, I can make 1,000 analogies, but you've already said it.
Yeah.
We got Ty City on the panel. We got Nicole 11. What's going on?
What's
Going
up,
on?
fam?
Chilling.
John.
What's going on, Minister of Defense? What's up, Mike?
What's going on, man?
What's up, Ty City?
What's up with it, man? Hey,
What's up, fellas? What's up, MOT? What's going on?
What's up, man?
Chilling.
Now we gonna get
easy.
together
I'm really
later tonight. So
Yeah. 10 o'clock. Yeah.
yes. That's
man,
gonna be
y'all taking me back, man. You know what? We had a setup called Black Peeps here in Dallas. I mean, it was called Dallas Peeps here in Dallas, and it was like a Black Planet, and yeah, it just went the way of the dodo bird.
But you know what? To speak to some, excuse me, damn, I can't freaking talk today. You know, it's been a long day. It's freaking midnight, waiting to go out again for the fourth time today. I'm tired. Forgive me. To speak to something that Mike said, you know, throughout whether it was Black Planet, what Ty City just spoke about, nothing constructive came out of it. Nothing as far as, hey, look, listen, go into STEM, or here's some information that's productive or useful. You know, everything seems to
Could have
always
made a
be.
gang of money off advertising.
What's that? Right, but
Man, Black Planet could have made. Oh my God, the amount of money they could have made off advertising just running ads on that thing. God.
Well, I mean, you got to think about this too, because you got to think about it like this too, because I remember on Facebook, you had to have a college ID to log into it.
Yep.
Damn, for real?
Yeah.
Really?
Initially.
Yeah, I think the starting point and the actual, you know what I'm saying, the usage of it at first. But, I mean, we looking at stuff like Black Planet and Dallas Peaks, man. Let's keep it G, man. you know what's going on. You know what's going on, man.
Meat market, yeah.
And which is exactly the point that I'm trying to make is, it always comes down to the lowest common denominator, the basest desires. The conversation is always around the basest desires. When you even talk about the quote unquote Black sector of YouTube, I already know what it is. Women bashing women, blaming the white boogeyman. That's it. There's nothing else. The Black Brain Trust is literally one channel, one little tiny sector of what's generally the basest human desires. That's the conversation.
Got this and like Star Talk. That's it.
That's it. Now listen, people can get upset, but it is what it is. You can't argue facts. And it's the same circular topics over and over and over again. But on that note, damn, I'm getting a fucking pillow thrown at me again. All right, gentlemen, we gotta run. Nagon, I'm actually in Lisbon, Portugal, my second trip here. So I don't speak a lick of Portuguese. My friend does, but she's trying to teach me a few words here and there. But I'm like,
The best thing you can say is "Como vai?"
Right. Well, I know that.
Well, you know, that's a good start.
Damn, Dan.
She's English, so I'm okay there.
But as far as, you know, getting down, you just have to learn a little bit of it. But como vai? Tudo bem? Bom dia.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Boa noite.
Also, yeah.
Hey,
Or they'll say boa noite. You know, the pronunciation is a little different from a Brazilian accent, but I like the Brazilian accent. It's a little more musical, but still, you know, the fundamentals are there. That's it. Hello, how are you? Good day, good night. You know, that'll work. That's how it starts.
Well, there is one word I know, caralho, but that's not a nice word.
Caralho. Caralho, Emma.
Yeah, but that's not.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's yeah.
Gentlemen,
all right. Have a great night. Boa noite.
Hey, have a good one, brother.
Take care.
Right.
Hey, you know what? Hey, I went over there to check out that the Black Avengers, right? And man, them niggas finna have legal trouble, bro.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on over there that we can't have the Black Brain Trust over there.
Yeah, yeah, the Fed's gonna shut that down.
Man, what's going on over there?
It says son shooting the fair woman.
You know when you go to a certain website and it come to that Fed page pop up. Yeah, that's what them niggas got coming, bro. I hate it. I don't know. I mean, man, they gotta know better, man.
Well, the thing about the Black Avenger, you can't take the site down. You can't hit it because it's not here in the United States. I think they go.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at this point. With the 2001 Patriot Act, the 2001 Patriot Act can actually retrieve those records or put out a warrant to retrieve it. So,
all right, but I think it's not getting. It's hard to flag it from here. The black. Some of the people in Lipstick Alley can't flag it. And some brothers, of course, can't flag it either as easily as you could get knocked off the box at Vimeo or something else like that. So it's there. I do think some of the content there is a little bit extreme, but I think I'm going to say this to people that like it. I understand where we're going, but I think it should be supported at certain levels as well, because I think us putting maybe some different content on that channel could kind of bring it around a little bit more to the mainstream if you can, because it did start out a bit extreme. But I think it should be supported. I'm just going to leave it at that. Hey, but I think they got some extreme stuff there. I think some of the stuff there is.
Get your IP address. Go ahead and get your IP address caught up in it.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I'm watching it closely, but I don't know.
I'm telling you, man.
I don't know.
They gotta know better, man.
There's some extreme stuff over there. There's no question about it. Yeah. Brothers are going hard up in that piece. My God. Yeah, going hard up in there. But they going hard. Them cats are going hard.
Hey, the fat meat getting peeled back on that.
Oh, they cut back to the fat meat that don't even think to bleed. It dry.
Back in the day, there was a site called Rotten, and Rotten used to do exactly what BA is doing now. The Rotten went away at some point. That was in the late 90s. Rotten was a site, and they used to put some pretty graphic stuff up on it. It wasn't porn or anything like that, but it was definitely pretty graphic. But that seems the way that the BA is going. Not that I have a problem with BA. I'm just saying that
it's not that they going hard. It's that it's some things on there that you just can't do anywhere.
Yeah.
I mean, LiveLink started out hard, and they had to turn that around.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm saying, every channel I think has to kind of, kind of ease out, because one of the images I saw was this white dude getting, it was hilarious. I mean, I laughed at it. It was an extreme picture. It was an extreme picture. It was extreme, and I was like, oh my God, this is extreme. But the unfortunate thing about it was it was speaking to some terrible truths. So I understand why brothers are going hardcore up in there. I thoroughly understand it. I'm not saying that I totally agree with all of it or whatever, but I understand exactly why they're doing it. Does it have to be kind of mellowed a little bit in some respects? I think that that could be even more helpful. I do believe that it could, but I understand why the BA is around, and the founder of it. I like him a great deal as well. So
I don't have nothing against it either. But when you log on, you see somebody's face superimposed on another image and their real name attached to it, bro, you're gonna have some problems.
Yeah, that could be. Yeah, I mean,
it's a PII issue. Sensitive information issue.
Yeah. I think they're going extreme. They're going hard, but like I said, they're going hard. But oh man, they're going hard.
Yeah.
But they're gonna have to. I think changes will be made. But like I said, I understand why some of the stuff is being done over there the way it is. I actually do want to.
Yeah. Yeah, so I definitely see, this is my prediction as we predicted months ago, but I definitely see next year somebody is going to have to come up with a new sort of platform and pull a lot of melanated content creators away from it, away from this, and away from the other platforms as well. I think Cocaine Kells said in the chat that Solange is reviving Black Planet. I wonder how he was able to do that, if he is doing that. How did he get the domain name? They must have charged a pretty penny for that.
Now that costed a lot of money. I mean, the last time I looked at it, I think about 3 or 4 years ago, they wanted like 2,500 for it.
But I mean, for
Could
what
have been way more now.
Yeah.
I mean, for what we mentioned earlier, man, that brand is tainted, man. I was just
Oh,
starting
yeah.
something new.
Yeah.
I mean,
Black Planet.
you know,
If a female gave me her Black Planet, I was just like, wow.
Oh, she said, Cocaine Hell says she. So I wonder, I thought it was Brian Solange that she was talking about.
Solange knows, like
Yeah,
Beyonce.
that's
Oh,
what.
you definitely you definitely ain't trying to use that platform.
Mhm.
If
Oh
Solange
yeah.
running
Oh shit.
it,
You know, that's a
it ain't no
lipstick alley part 2.
I mean, you see what happened to Jay-Z. You think you gonna get your shit off on Solange media site?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. I can see that.
I mean, you know, like Black Planet is like where Christian Mingle and like black people meets at, man. I mean, you can't. Damn.
Yeah. Well, I mean, okay, the domain name, okay, fine. I'm just saying that there needs to be a continuation from where Black Planet fell off at and try to figure out what happened. In my
She got the
opinion,
money. I mean, you know, she got the money. She got competent people behind her. Yeah, it could work.
well, what I'm saying is they need to figure out why it fell off, right? Because Black Planet fell off where Facebook started, and Facebook has exponentially grown from an application standpoint. I understand that. I understand that earlier that Black Gnostics was talking about the internet speed was different back then, but I would argue that that was not the case. Facebook has an app. What?
Got Mike.
Yeah, I think he dropped again. Or
They got Mike.
that
But-
USB.
But
Yeah,
for
man,
his point, what he was saying is, you know, the Hispanics still have Magente, and the Asians had Zanga, a social site called Zanga, and I don't think they never went away, but I just think they're not as popular.
Yeah.
Where's Mike, man? Mike gone?
They got them. I'm telling you.
What? WM got his foot on his neck? Oh, no. Oh, no.
I'm telling you.
No. Oh,
We
no.
did. As soon as he said Solange, you tripped the algorithm.
Oh, he's about the young,
Mike in that,
the young
Mike
soldier.
in that elevator.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Damn, they coming for Mike. Where are you, Mike?
Mike get that
The
work.
elevator just showed up. And the elevator just showed up out of nowhere.
Yeah, can you hear me?
There you go. Yeah, we can now. You all right?
This Phantom box is not the most robust. I'll probably have to take it back.
Oh, because I was like, you okay? I was like, cue your mic if you're still alive. It's cute. Just
I
hit it
thought
3
he said
times.
the
And see what you
Wi-Fi
say.
and the Phantom. I was said the Wi-Fi and the Phantom.
Nah, the mixer is a Phantom-based, Phantom-powered mixer. So I think what happens with the USB port doesn't have enough power to keep it up. And the mic is a condenser mic, so it requires quite a bit of power. So I may have to go get a actual plug-in outlet-based mixer. So.
Nah, but what I was telling them, did you hear what I said?
Nah, I didn't hear anything.
Nah, I was telling them that that the Hispanics had the Magente and the Asians had the Zanga. Mahete. And I don't think they went away. I just think they just got less popular. I haven't checked though. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, it was a spinoff from Black Planet, right?
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much. But man, the thing about that is, man, everybody couldn't wait to leave Black Planet, man. All the promoters and people who was actually using it for like business purposes and whatnot, they jumped ship quick.
Mm-hmm.
And then all you had left on there was, you know what I'm saying? Meet and greets.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this whole YouTube thing is, I don't know what they trying to do with YouTube on the cool.
Well, I don't think it
get to where they trying to go.
I don't think it has much to do with just melanated people in particular, but I do think that they will be disproportionately affected to the policies.
Yeah, I mean because to be all honest, you know, they act more reckless than other people on average too, man.
Mm-hmm.
Well, but I mean, Twitter.
Well, hold on a second. You got to look at the gaming channels, man. I mean, you know, a brother ultimately got killed by some crazy, by some crazy, WB over some gaming crap. And these were two YouTube creators. Somebody was killed behind this. Somebody died, and YouTube is sitting there saying, "This is just the beginning." So their deal is, we got to cut a lot of this back to the fat meat. And when they start hearing crazy talk, people saying a lot of madness, and because they're listening to everything, and I mean, me, C-Bug, and a couple other guys were talking about, man, at some point in time, somebody at Black Manosphere is gonna get iced because people up in here inviting people to their private parts, and people over here calling people, bitch niggas and all this, sucker lades talking smack like that. Somebody gonna want to tear somebody out the frame if they see him. Somebody who's gonna be unhinged is gonna roll up on somebody and tear somebody out. They don't want that. They don't want that, because then they could say that YouTube could be liable and a lot of other things. Because you're leaving you're leaving up a platform for people to kind of get at each other in some savage ways.
Notify the authorities and all that.
Yeah. All this stuff. So these policies ultimately are grown out of that. They're grown out of that killing that went down there last year, early this year, whatever it was, when it was. When two YouTubers, took each other, went at each other, and these were gamers, which are huge. These gaming channels have millions of people in there. So even though this sector of YouTube is relatively small, the awesome, unbelievable toxicity coming out of this is can be frightening. Mm-hmm. And some of what you hear is frightening stuff, and people talking crazy to grown ass men and women talking crazy. So you are potentially looking at some problems, and being the fact that we are Black folks, you're going to be heavily watched by the come on, let's be frank.
By the man.
You are gonna be watched by the system, or like my Latino boy said, by the system. The system watching you. The system's gonna be watching you. So that's what's up. And people have to be on their P's and Q's. Now, there are a lot of people here who run a manosphere, talking a lot smack, crazy, stupid, not thinking, not three-dimensionally thinking, not looking down the road. And a lot of them are going to get cut back to the fat meat as well as they should.
Yeah.
So you know what? I was on the stream and we was talking about disciplined children, right? And you know what I'm saying? We just talking about this, and you got a nigga on there talking about, I beat the hell out of my kids. I'm just like, wow, this YouTube algorithm probably going nuts right now.
And they're watching it, and they're gonna, we already saw one person who was live streaming, and YouTube was getting tight, and they just shot them out the skies in the middle of a live stream. Bang, shot them right out the skies like a YouTube spy plane. Bang,
just be some haters giving you thumbs down. They're gonna swoop in.
So stuff is going to happen. So stuff is going to go down, and I understand why YouTube is protecting certain kind of things. Not that I agree with everything that they're doing, but when you start to listen to some of the stuff that you're hearing, people talking about, I'm gonna do this to you, and and fuck your dead mother, and all. I mean, just demonic, evil stuff. I mean, it's way over the top, which has no reason to even be on here. I mean. and people are going to who knows how some people are going to respond. So YouTube's got to watch it. They've got to keep an eye on something.
Yeah, but the B-dub usually get like a pass though.
I think when you start saying certain things and you start going into certain areas that I have to say, I've even heard men say to each other. I've heard people invite people to private parts and things like that, dead mamas and all this kind of craziness. I've never heard that before. And quite frankly, I don't know how people can respond to that. I don't know. You don't know, man. That's you don't know. So, you're throwing extraordinary X factors in here with insanely crazy, stupid, sick people. You don't know what can happen. You just don't know. So my view is I understand why YouTube would sit back and look at some of this and say, oh, hey, hold on a second. We come with a whole new set of policies. We're gonna have this across the board. And we're just gonna start tearing folks out the frame who are coming out way outside of the system. That I understand some. Unfortunately,
so should we call it the Nagone 11 whenever it does happen?
Hey, we got Black Gnostic on the panel. What's going on, Black Gnostic?
Yeah, you know what the big reason is I said this like a year ago, maybe a little bit more, that Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter all, especially Facebook and Google are headed toward headed to federal court, antitrust. And
sure.
The federal government is
part of it.
It's the part of it. That's the biggest part of it, because the federal government can basically break up your company if they want to. So so anything they don't like, they're going to put pressure on Google and put pressure on Facebook to bend to their will. Otherwise, guess what, buddy? We've allowed you to grow this big and take over companies and squash competitors and stuff like that. You're big fat goose right now. So either you kind of.
I'm shocked to haven't happened to Amazon yet. Shocked.
Amazon's on its way. It's in the background, and they've actually talked about Amazon and breaking up Amazon in the background. A lot of politicians already have.
Yeah.
So the thing is, those big three are basically headed the way Microsoft did in the 90s. So I'm not surprised that YouTube's trying to play nice, or Google's trying to play nice with YouTube and other things, so that they can be a little bit more favorable towards the courts.
Well, that's definitely the big picture game, I certainly wouldn't disagree. Because I've actually was reading an article on that actually in the Guardian. I have to say the Guardian. I love those guys. They always come up with all kind of stuff. But when you have people getting killed on YouTube behind craziness, that's another factor as well. So you have to watch that. And I understand there's got to be a certain level of quality.
If the AIs can spot a copyright in midstream, they can spot AIs can actually spot violent speech in midstream too. If they wanted to cut it off, they would. They have.
Well, I think that's what they're trying to do. I think that they're trying to.
You guys know. You guys don't. You guys have been, slapped by YouTube a couple times. And it wasn't about violent or hate speech.
Oh no! I think a lot of about the content. They're worried about certainly some of the things that we talk about, and I think when we start talking about certain countries, if you know what I'm talking about, and how they operate, and maybe even some content that might come up that might be associated with them, they're coming after you. So we got to watch that at many levels, but I do think violence is a part of it. Anyway,
I have streams where people are literally going at each other, right? For an hour or two, right? Nothing, right? Anything political or anything touching where you talking about stuff that regular people aren't supposed to be talking about, all of a sudden, boom! I get shit starts to happen.
Yeah, I think politics is and that's what they fear about us the most. Especially this sector, really politically organizing and getting people's minds right per se. We know that's a huge factor. I was listening to Dr. Gerald Horn, and I was listening to a speech he had, and he was talking about his books and a lot of stuff he was talking about. And then somebody asked him any questions about, well, Dr. Horn, are you worried about, some of the, are you worried about yourself and some of the stuff you're saying? Well, I haven't had any problems yet. And he was kind of laughing, but he was kind of, in his voice, you could hear, a lot of my writing. And the game I'm putting you guys on may cause me a problem down the line.
No, well, Dr. Gerald Horn, you guys are starting to learn this, something that I and others already know. there's an invisible line that you know not to cross.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's what we're talking about.
And Gerald Horn has been in the game long enough to know that you can walk up to that line, but do not cross that line.
Well, his last
and what he's
one,
saying, I haven't had any problems yet, means I know exactly how far to go. I haven't stepped over the line yet. That's what he's saying.
I think what he's also said is that he's felt a few bumps, a few nudges. They're nudging him a little bit. So, back.
Yeah, they will nudge you. They will nudge you. They have nudged me already twice this year. They've nudged me, so I already.
Well, Gerald Horn, who was exceedingly scholarly, published guy who has a job teaching at a university. When you hear somebody like him saying, "Hey,
yeah, I know. Yeah, there's a line. I haven't crossed the line yet, because me and a friend of mine way back in the day, when my first think tank, we used to joke who's going to be the first in the orange jumpsuit, me or him.
Well, like I said, I would say you're much less of a problem. These guys who are sitting in front of, they're published all over the place. Not to say that you're not, because they're watching it at Black YouTube like crazy. But these guys who are highly published and putting out a lot of books, it's a scary game.
Look at what they did to Mercy Hashimi from Press TV. She's from Louisiana, and they arrested her earlier this year. And she came to the United States. They held her under the NDAA Act. They could basically hold her for like 16 days. But they held her because she's working on a documentary about Black Lives Matter, exposing a lot of the stuff that's happening in the background. A lot of brothers getting killed over Black Lives Matter. They're not talking about that, right?
Yeah.
So she has a documentary that's going to expose a whole lot of that stuff. And they basically arrested her, and now they arrested her family. So they're holding her family. They're holding her sons and her daughters, man. She got out of the country,
and she's not even published. And she's not even published.
Yeah. Well, she hasn't published a documentary yet. So
no, she hasn't even published.
They took down Press TV to stop her from actually, stop them from actually putting that information out. They have a great documentary series called America's Backyard. There's about 5 different parts breaking down how U.S. imperialism has overthrown multiple governments in Latin America. It's an excellent documentary. But even they went after John Pilger too.
Yes, they did.
Recently.
So, John Pilger's been persona non grata for a very long time,
and it's coming more on China. And YouTube still has it up. The stuff he was breaking down, a lot of people had a problem with it, but unfortunately he was dead on the money for what he was saying for some, and there are those that want him quiet. I mean, let's talk about a lot of other guys. One of our favorite ones. BGS. What about gold, dollars, and power? What about that? And he was
okay.
Basically, he was bought off.
He was bought off because there's never been, now normally an author at least have a few interviews about his book.
That's
somewhere, especially in this day and age.
Can't find it.
There's because it doesn't exist.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't exist. And what happened to him? Guess what? He went from a professor at University of Texas to MIT.
The MIT, and he's got a fellowship over there.
Yep.
Yeah.
So they bought him out.
Nice and quiet. They got him nice and paid him off to sit down. Basically, they paid him to sit down and shut up.
Basically, Killer Mike got bought off and told to shut up. Okay, and we can give you a business. We're gonna give you a platform, but that stuff you've been talking about dollars and social justice, you need to tone that down and get into the political. We might have a political career for you, okay? You become a political commentator, but the stuff that you're talking, guess what? You're gonna wind up like a few of those Black Lives Matter guys if you don't.
That's right. And that's what Gerald Horn. That's what Gerald Horn said.
Yeah. Well, I talked to a couple of PhDs, so and there's a line. There's an
even with Killer Mike, he had to backtrack because people started jamming him up on the Bernie Sanders situation.
Yeah, of course.
there was no way to tiptoe. You know what I'm saying? He not really a politician like that.
Oh, he's not a politician, but the thing is that remember I forget what year it was, maybe 2-3 years ago, when Killer Mike was on the television station at Atlanta, and he said we need to take the food out of this dog's mouth. I said, oh boy. I said he got two ways he gonna go.
Yep. You know, no, he's got to be careful with that. Yeah.
It's either gold or lead. Which one you want?
Exactly.
But you know what? I know y'all not into hip hop like that, but that Run the Jewels series is full of that. It's a little aggressive. It's kind of edgy. It's not really full on hip hop. It's kind of raw, like got like a rock edge to it, but it's aggressive. I work out to it, but I mean, that's the dangerous part when you start trickling into pop culture. You know what I'm saying? Start pushing it towards being popular, and you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, or giving people an idea, or showing people where the pressure points are.
Hey, isn't Killer Mike on Netflix? He got a Netflix show, right?
Yeah, he got Netflix. He's selling T-shirts. He's selling soda. He's selling a whole bunch of stuff. So he's got a nice little enterprise going.
Yeah, Killer Mike rocking.
Him and T.I. buying
God
up
bless
Atlanta.
God bless him.
Yeah.
When you saw him on the stage with what's her name? What's the chick's name?
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
I said, okay. I said, oh God. Okay. Well, we just lost another one. I don't blame you, bro.
Yeah.
I don't blame you. I said, hey, basically, black martyrs die broke. So it is what it is.
Oh, and the list
and young. So I don't blame you, bro. I can't blame them.
Or they disappear rich.
Well, yeah, at the end of the day,
I don't know who are the ones that disappeared rich. I don't know them.
That's the whole thing about disappearing.
Oh yeah. I mean, I never knew them in the first place. Okay, not the poor righteous. The righteous teachers don't die rich.
But even the political arena, right? I remember like the big Hillary Clinton thing when she had Jay-Z and Beyonce. I think people are past that. They don't even care about that no more. You know what I'm saying? And YouTube was one of those vessels that they was using to do that. And I'm pretty sure they seen the numbers from the last election. And yeah, they don't want to be like in the middle of certain things anymore, I don't think.
When people are well fed, that works. When they're well fed, that works. When they're not well fed, that doesn't work.
But, I really look, literally since over the last 20, 25 years at the merger manias of so much that has merged, literally from your insurance companies to your media companies and so forth.
Well, all under a Democrat. Most under a Democrat.
But the Republicans, they've been in the Bush administration, and certainly under the Bushes, merger mania got live. I mean, it definitely got super live with respect to expanded government under the Republicans as well, which was not supposed to happen, and then of course Obama and them accelerated that.
Now Nagone.
And certainly, yeah. Go ahead.
When Bill Clinton brought in Robert Rubin, you knew there was going to be some shit, right?
Oh, listen. You don't hear me. You don't hear me, my man. I am not about to sit here and debate that point because there's nothing to debate. All right.
Remember from '94 to like 2000 when they were calling it the Robert Rubin. Stock market rise. Remember that?
For sure.
That's
so
how many stories around that particular stock market time, man, you wouldn't believe it.
but remember, look how much Republican money Clinton had. Look at all the Republican dollars that were rolling with him. He was highly cross-endorsed at the top. Of course he was. And he caught a lot of Republican money.
Because that's why when Rasmus' books finally gets available, I'm going to buy it. Talking about neoliberals, because they're just neoliberals, man. Since Jimmy Carter on, just neoliberalism. That's all it is. It doesn't matter, Republican, Democrat. There is basically, if you look at the policies, the only person that really broke policy for the last since '76 is probably Trump. He's the first one.
Well, you're not breaking too much policy.
Yeah, he's what?
Because he's breaking his boys off. Okay, the big money boys, he's breaking them off nice as well.
I know, but he's not. But he's not. But he's going against neoliberal, the old neoliberal policies, like with trade and that kind of stuff. Because he broke a lot of those agreements, those neoliberal agreements.
Yeah. But a lot of that stuff because he's stupid enough to think that this was all Obama's idea, which is how can this man be at this level thinking that? But it's pretty scary. But
I mean, if you had to sell it for an election. That's
but
was selling it for an election and actually promoting the policy are two different things.
That's exactly
right.
That's
what I'm saying. That's how he was able to get it off.
That's exactly right. I mean, so that's why I kind of thought he was going to be a shoo-in for the second one, but I'm kind of thinking,
the Democrats are so bad.
Democrats are pitiful.
They're so bad, man. They're so bad. I don't know, man.
The Democrats are pitiful.
It's a landslide. They got last-minute candidates popping up.
Yeah. Deval Patrick, I think, is getting ready to step into the race.
I don't even know who running against Trump on his side.
Really, if you think about it, does it matter?
No, that's what I'm saying. Who would show up to even like debate or whatever?
Yeah.
They'll get
I mean, but if this impeachment goes too far, they could not give him the nomination this summer, man. They can really do that.
I mean, but if you think about that, okay, so say if the impeachment goes through, right? Say if they impeach him, right?
Doesn't mean anything.
Have a lot of negative press. Okay, at this late stage of the game, who do Republicans replace him with?
Then they got to go with the horse that they're riding, and you got to get at least 20 senators or so forth. Republican senators go against. It's not gonna
it ain't gonna work.
I don't think it'd be replaced.
It's gonna take so long that by the time it happens, the next election gonna be popped off already.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
It's basically it's too late. If you're gonna impeach him, it should have been like a year ago.
Yeah.
Now I don't think the Democrats really want him removed. I really don't.
No, Pelosi don't want him removed.
No,
I don't think so.
He gives you material. If you had a decent candidate, he gives you material every day.
Yeah, I mean, he does. I mean, and the man can't stop talking. He's got a problem. This guy's really. This guy's got a problem.
I think it's
we
the
don't have
other way
anyone
around. If you was going to defeat him, you just ignore him. But people can't ignore him.
Of course
everything he does is top of the damn news. You know what I'm saying? Instead of his policies, instead of fighting him on that, you know what I'm saying? He knows.
Well, he's a media man.
That's how he wins.
He's a media guy. He understands the media. He's a media dude. I mean, this guy, he left the show The Apprentice and ran over here to run for president. Then they put Arnold Schwarzenegger up there to put him in the spot. And I think he was at one of these prayer breakfasts laughing about how Arnold couldn't beat his ratings. And I mean, he kind of insulted his whole public, but this guy can't get his mind out of the media. This is a media guy.
He's in a sweet spot, basically.
And he plays it. He
plays to it. So, he's sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. I don't think YouTube and Facebook and all these other entities, I don't think they want the blame for Trump winning again.
It doesn't matter.
But that's what I'm saying, because now
he got it the first time. It's too late.
No, they were saying that they don't want anybody. They having trouble with the advertisement and who's going to have advertisements, political ads, and not. And I think they trying to just not be involved this time. Like,
yeah, well, they may try, but I don't think they can't stop it. They can't stop what's going on right now. And let me tell you that. It's terrible as it is, and BGS, you've done some pretty good videos on, the terrible state of kind of rural white America and kind of of which I'm thoroughly aware of. Some of us are thoroughly aware of it, but it's always good to put that out there.
Mm-hmm.
But still, with all that pain and angst that they still have a belief that this great white savior is going to bring them forward.
Who else do they have?
They're going to come out. They're coming out. They're not going against them. They're coming out.
There is no there is no hero in Thunderdome, right?
That's right.
Nobody's going to come walking out of it to save you. It is what it is.
Yeah, so they're coming out against them. So I think a lot of people think, oh, these guys are going to go. No, they're going to come out. Don't think they're not. So I think people need to to be very aware of that. And if
Yeah,
this is it's going to be ground game.
The Democrats are so bad. You know, I've
Yeah,
never seen the Democrats
yeah.
run an election campaign so badly. It just, I don't know. They don't have anything, man. They have nothing. They can't, you know.
I mean, Andrew Yang is the closest because
Andrew Yang's he's not
running.
He's not running for president. He's just actually campaigning.
Yeah,
that's for Silicon Valley.
Andrew Yang is basically a stalking horse for the World Economic Forum. Yeah, basically.
Very much so, and Silicon Valley to keep certain things flowing and keeping them on game.
Well,
I understand what he's doing. He's actually a pretty smart guy, but he's definitely not running for president.
No, the world belongs to the world. The future of the world is going to belong to the techies, man. It is what it is.
That's it. Yeah.
It's going to be a technocratic society.
It's going to be a technocratic society because the singularity means a technocratic society. It is what it is.
It certainly is.
Huh?
You see what Zuckerberg doing?
I mean, Zuckerberg's got to get past the Department of Justice first, because Zuckerberg's been doing some you know.
The way it's looking is he's going to go through. He's going to go through with this Libra project, whether the United States is involved with it or not.
Samakai.
We'll see.
You don't know how the world works, boss.
No, you don't.
you basically the thing is, you can sell any kind of coin you want, get transferred any way you want, but at the end of the day, that it has to be some way converted into local currency so you can get your goods and services, and that's where they got you.
Some of these countries don't have a currency at all. Something like Libra would work.
Well, say it is at the end of the day. Okay, say you had a Libra coin, right? Just for instance, through Facebook, right? And you wanted to buy something. Say, pick a country. What's your favorite country? Zimbabwe, Uganda, where? You know?
But see, that's the thing with Libra. It's based on a basket of currency.
Okay, it's based on a basket of currency, but you have a Libra coin. If I gave you a Libra and you had a bunch of Libra coins in your phone, right? You went to Uganda, okay? You wanted to buy something. Somebody's got to accept that Libra coin. Who does?
I mean, I think it's going to happen.
I ask you a question, sir. Who does? That's what they did. Everybody was raving about Bitcoin being $20,000. The Chinese tore it out the frame within a few weeks. We're not going to accept. South Korea and China tore it out the frame in 2 weeks. It went from $20,000 all the way down to $5,000.
Sure did.
Because it's
they watch traded.
Okay, because it's the end point. You got to remember, money is nothing but a medium of exchange. If you cannot exchange it for goods or services, it's Confederate money.
It's useless, and that's got to be ratified by government. That's
where they got you.
That's where that's got to come down. So,
that's where they got you.
I don't know if really we can really argue that point. At the end of the day, if they don't want this thing going down, it ain't gonna happen.
But it's saying is, if and it has to be a big enough player that accepts. That's like a Bitcoin and a lot of these cryptocurrencies actually do have life because they got a couple of billion people that are willing to trade in it.
Yep, and it's also supported by your governments, and you got your big back. Who were getting into it. When you saw Wall Street decided they were getting into Bitcoin, which I said I had a lot of issues with, I kind of knew what was going to happen with that.
So the world eventually it's going to have to happen, man, because
that's a fact.
Because the Asians do not like what has happened to the banking sector over the last 50 years. And they want, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, they want to take it out of human hands. In other words, so you can't scrape off the top, you can't cheat, you can't do anything funny because the AI doesn't care. Okay.
And look how it works. It hasn't really worked for them in a lot of respects. And then look at some of the governments we put up there and so forth, and played all the different games. So they put something in there that's outside of that, which I look at from the libertarian perspective, of which I really always thought the whole coin game was really all about. I think that's the best way to go. But anyway, go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say that the next recession, the Chinese are not going to bail out the U.S. this time around. So Libra and going against the a blockchain-based yuan it's going to be a disaster for Facebook.
Yeah.
Well,
Libra is supposed to replace something like Western Union, and
Right.
and
Yeah.
something like that, where you can actually, because you have a lot of people that have Facebook accounts or something like that, and which is easy to get. And how do you send your remittance? Well, your remittances are costing you 15 to 20% if you send it through Western Union. Okay, easiest way to do it is something that's trusted or hopefully trusted, like the Libra, which Western Union is going to have a problem with.
Mm.
Mike, you
I know
already
the Chinese.
you already
The
know what
Chinese
that
are
is.
holding a lot of our treasuries. They hold a lot of our papers. So
When
What do
you
you
go ahead.
no what,
so
what are you saying, Ty City?
I'm just saying, if things drop and they say, hey, we're not going to pull the system up.
You heard what
lose a lot. Anyway, go ahead.
You heard the speech that Putin gave, right?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. But we already know it's just a matter of time.
Yeah, it's a matter, but still, there's a lot to lose, and I'm just saying, I'm listening to a lot of talk. I think Putin is talking a lot to kind of try to get us to kind of move more towards the table, to kind of play a slightly different game. This is what I'm kind of looking at. I still got to watch a lot of this unfold. But anyway,
he's talking to Europeans. Yeah. That's who he's really talking to.
What were you saying, Ty City?
No, what I was saying was the blockchain based yuan, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have a company like Ripple that they actually label by name in the executive order. They are already laying the groundwork to be a bridge asset. So the dollar is going to go into a crypto blockchain situation. They're going to have to. So
yeah,
when you say
that's true.
But the new system is going to be an intermediary like Ripple that is going to take that dollar, swap it, and that dollar never goes into anybody else's economy. The dollar is going to be your own problem now.
That's true. But the thing is the way this, it's probably a little difficult to say, the way the dollar is done by being in the medium of exchange for the rest of the world is how basically the United States makes its money.
That's right.
And when that ends, you got to remember, the medium of exchange is just one little piece of the whole system. Okay, there's a lot of different pieces of the system. There's four parts of the system to be reserve currency, right? And I think I've said this before. Okay, large balance of payments, large manufacturing sector or technology sector, right?
Industrialization.
The amount of gold that you have reserved, because gold is still considered part of your base reserves. And then the next is the blue water navy, so that you can ensure trade. In Caspian, the Caspian group actually did a video maybe a couple of months ago saying the exact same thing, why the United States and the dollar is a reserve currency. Putin was saying the exact same thing. That's how come they're a trusted currency, because it's a system. Currency is just one little piece of it. Without the other three parts, without those four parts, the currency is no good.
The dollar at this point only has liquidity.
The dollar at this point is basically has what the generals have said. The dollar at this point has the Navy and the armed forces. That is basically literally is what holding the dollar up right now.
And for a rifle.
And yeah, exactly. And you still have a lot of countries still buying dollars. Now, how long will this happen? How long is this going to go on? Because they still consider it a stable currency.
Well, because we don't have a competing system that's ready to take its place. That's the other problem. You don't have a competing system ready to take its place.
And that's what
they're building now.
And that's what the Chinese and the Russians are putting together.
They're putting together right now. Yeah.
But that's the thing, though. You take something like the yuan and you wash trade it into dollar, right? The dollar being in position has actually ruined a lot of stuff, because now they could just wash trade a bunch of their money and exchange it for a US dollar. You can't wash trade a dollar into anything else, more liquid. That's why everybody else is able to just grow and expand economically like crazy.
Well, it's I mean, the Gone can tell you, because it took me a bunch of years to actually understand how the system actually works, and it's a dollar system, a currency system, especially a senior system, is a matter of trust, and that's the problem about it. The thing is, it's not that does the system work or can it be traded for one thing or another. Is, do you trust that you will get your goods at the end of the rope, which is what the dollar kind of ran into in 2008.
That's
Okay.
right.
In other words, and Putin said the exact same thing. He said, Putin was saying it in his speech. He said, basically, they screwed up their own system by their own hand, because it was an accepted, trusted system, because it did work. And in 2008, they screwed the pooch, and since then, people have been looking to get off of it.
Yep. It had short-term growth.
That's not even growth. Basically, okay, all I don't mean to hog the system. The Gone deals in money. Can you get a $20 bill for whatever you've done, for the work that you've done, and go down to the grocery store and trade the $20 bill for goods or for food or for gas? If you can do that consistently, people can trust that if the $20 bill will get them whatever they need, $20 worth of goods and services, people will accept it. When that no longer applies, guess what's going to happen?
I meant the system itself. I just meant the system itself. I didn't mean the dollar. I meant the system itself.
Or did you? What did they say? Oh, the system itself. Well, yeah, the thing is, the dollar, basically, it could be, even today, most people don't use a $20 bill. What do you use? You use a debit card or whatever kind of
it's
card.
all digitized. Yep.
It's all digitized. It doesn't matter what the form is. Yep. Can I get, because all it is an accounting system.
Yep.
Gold is nothing but an accounting system. The Gone charged me $100,000 for his services, which I think is a little high. I think he ripped me off, but I paid his ass, and guess what the Gone's going to do? He's going to go down to Brazil and buy a whole favela or something, right? Because he can trade it. Okay, it doesn't matter what I pay him in.
Yeah, but digital or paper, it doesn't matter. It's not buying the same thing it was buying 20 years ago.
Oh, the thing, okay, it's an accounting.
Are you talking about from a standpoint of inflation?
Inflation was, well, that's even more complex. It's an accounting system, okay?
It's an accounting system, and inflation, to a large extent, is a tax that's put on you, literally almost by the
compounding tax
by the Fed and the Federal Reserve Board to get their money back.
Get their money back. Yeah.
It's a funky game, but that's really
where does it end?
It ends when the system crashes, when it gets so high, the weight of the whole system crashes. And this has been, inflation has been around since they've been minting coins, where they
exactly since the Roman period.
They used the gold coins, you shave off the edges of it, and the coin kept getting smaller and smaller and smaller.
Or then what they started to do, they started to put pewter into the coins, and then you started to see the gold coins that used to be gold 1,000 years before. Now they were about maybe 50-something% or a little bit less than 50% pure gold. But they look like gold.
The biggest cause of inflation is the fractional reserve system. If you can take a dollar and multiply it by 8 and use those other 7 as leverages, even though they physically do not exist, that's when you get inflation. Start multiplying. That's what happened in 2008. The fractional reserve rate went from 8 to 1 to 30 to 1. It's unsustainable.
And your debts were so high you didn't have actually the cash reserves to actually.
There's no cash reserves. There's no goods or services. There's no material that can actually do what, settle that debt. I think it's what, depending on who you talk to, is up to between $108 trillion and $250 trillion.
That's why when you hear BGS speak about having a debt jubilee,
yes,
this is one of the things that that they think will actually set the system right to start from scratch again. But
I don't know. You got a better idea?
My view is I would see the system is so effed the way it is. I don't think that there's any way to really recover it, but that is a method that could be a plan for a relative long term.
Yeah,
to help to set the system straight again, where you can get a lot. But there's so many people that will lose.
The Marxists do not like it, man. I was surprised. Wolf hates the idea.
Yeah.
Wolf hates that idea.
Well, Wolf thinks this whole thing, this thing should be scrapped by itself anyway. He thinks, and his whole game is really about, the whole public banking system and all of that. That's what he feels.
Yeah. But the thing is, but people still want their money.
And the democratization of business and of money as well, of which he thinks has been taken out of the game. He's got a whole philosophy on that, which I don't think he's wrong on.
Yeah, but in the
look,
meantime,
check this out, Nagu. What's stopping them from just taking this motherfucker to the moon? You know what I'm saying? Because
what do you mean?
As far as the markets just being at all-time highs, like what's saying they just won't just stop and just keep pumping money and QE.
It's called. So basically, at some point, how much will those stocks or those shares be worth if it goes to the moon?
That's it.
It's going to the moon. That's where it's looking.
Actually, it's leveled out pretty much. Well, it's called supply and demand, and the reason that it's gone to the moon is because everything, all the bond money, all the interest money used to go to savings accounts and money markets and all that kind of stuff. Basically, damn near went to zero, and so basically, where does, if you want to return on your money, where do you go? So all that money that used to be spread out over hundreds of different places, it can only go one place, which is where? Stock market. That's why it's going up as high as it's going.
Yep. And the people who own a lot of stock consistently reinvest, and buy more shares, hold more shares, buy more shares, hold more shares, buy more shares. That's what's running up the system. That's a disconnect you see between Wall Street and Main Street.
Yeah, the thing is, at some point, when do you cash out?
Exactly.
And that's the whole problem with stocks. With this stock market, when do you cash out? Because you're so high, and basically that ladder is, you're way high, and the ladder is starting to sway. How high do you go before it breaks? And do you want to be on that ladder before it breaks? Go ahead.
Hey guys, what's going on? I just want to pull back just a tad bit on that blockchain. I think I might throw the Black Brain Trust on my list of criticisms that I have for BGS and my mentor here locally. But y'all's timeline. So yeah, y'all's timeline's a little off in terms of this shit's ramping up really fast. BRICS is happening right now down in Brazil.
The BRICS conference. Yeah, we're all over that one.
Yep, and the main talking point is blockchain. So BRICS is an acronym for Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa.
South Africa.
And when I mean they're talking, if you do a summit and you're going to announce blockchain, they're already a year ahead of us. I mean, they're in it, setting up the system and these structures to support it, and they're, they just need a government system backing it. So like BGS said earlier about having trust in the system. So I tip my hat to you guys. I think we all started about maybe 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago. Well, I got here about a year and a half ago, so I don't know what y'all were doing before that. But talking about blockchain and pushing it and telling brothers to get into it, the world's finna change, man. I don't know if y'all ever watched played a game back in the day. It was called Mass Effect. And part of Mass Effect, there was a dude in the background, and that's how the game was set up with cryptocurrency. That's basically how you got goods to all these intergalactic species were changing money in currency. It was like
they've been doing that since Star Trek.
Yeah, so it's here, boys and girls. So I think there's what's my man Mike that does the crypto group every week.
Oh, Lionel.
Yeah,
Lionel. Yeah, you guys better sign up for Lionel's crypto group and keep an ear out, man. He's directing people what courses to take. He's got a pretty good pulse on the heartbeat. So
we've been I started using cryptocurrencies in 1981. It's called a debit card.
Yeah, pretty much so. but I know crypto and all that is blockchain is getting big because I'm dealing with right now with a very big Japanese bank that's hiring for this right now, and all the other banks are doing it. So there it is. I mean, when you start looking at some of these big banks that are out here looking for blockchain. It's on. It's terribly on. And that's the whole thing about Brazil with the whole blockchain piece. But their big issue right now is their government game. You know, with the current president and all the issues going on with Lula and how the left and the right are getting ready to have some big issues down there, and possibly, you know, you even have the president talking about with the murder of this black councilwoman who was out of the favelas in Brazil, who was killed, and with the paramilitaries that you do have down there, they're talking about really trying to go back to almost a military junta in Brazil, and that's going to be ill. That's going to be ill. So there's going to be some huge things going on in that country. So the blockchain and all that would be great. It just depends on where the politics goes. And I would like to see the country move a bit more to the left than to the right-wing junta type of deal that they had it going on in the 80s.
Yeah, well, it will. There's the if they can completely kill the Monroe Doctrine, they have a chance to do it. But can they completely kill the Monroe Doctrine?
Well, they're gonna have to work with us in it to a certain degree, because they've already come down here and jumped into Petrobras and all of that, and now we got them doing the slash and burn crap over there in the jungles, in the Amazonas, where we're cutting down the lungs of the earth.
Oh yeah, well, hey, you gotta grow more soybeans,
which is fucking ill. So I think there's gotta be
gotta grow. That's the effect. You gotta grow more soybeans.
Some movements. I don't know. I think Art Nusstal is up in there. Art, give us a what do you think about this, man? But I would like to get some ideas.
I could have told you they were going to do that, man. As soon as China had to switch where it bought soybeans from. Yeah, I could have told you that. The second leading supplier of soybeans is Brazil. So now they have a bigger market opportunity. So they got to expand land. It is what it is.
They actually started buying them from Russia as of I think June or July. So we'll see what happens in terms of how this plays out, because Brazil's they've been trying to wedge Brazil away from China and Russia from the BRICS.
Yeah, they have been trying to, but China's there, and Russia's always been there at a certain.
Yeah, but if China can resolve that issue with Venezuela down there and help them resolve that issue with Venezuela and bring them back online, they'll pull Brazil in.
That's a big ask, man. That's a big ask. That's a huge ask. I mean,
it's already been settled, though. It's already been settled.
It's been settled.
Okay.
Yeah. Luke Oil or Gazprom is going to take over Fedista, which is Brazil's oil sector. So now they can't put the sanctions that were once on Fedista, which is the oil company, is now in the hands of the Russians. So the Russians will take all the oil from Venezuela and sell it themselves and cut it 70-30.
Okay.
Yeah. Like you said before, though, they've got another option on the table. It's a new devil on the playing field.
There's a devil on the planet, but the thing is, that settles the financial part, or at least alleviates some of the financial problems. But there's other factors. The United States is not going to go quietly into the night. I'm gonna tell you.
No, agree. I totally agree with that. But I mean, my question to you is, do you think the U.S. will go to war just because other people don't want to use their dollar no more?
It's a possibility.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The thing is how far. It's not will they go to war. It's saying how far will they actually take the war. Okay, that's the issue. Are they willing to put all the cards on the table and risk annihilation to do it? I don't think they're willing to go that far. But I am no prophet.
Okay. Hey, I just want to ask that question, guys. I'm gonna head off. I'm gonna get on later on with you guys. All right.
Yeah, this is what I see. I see the United States coming in and say, no. We know it's a problem, but let's do it like this. And they're going to try to become part of a solution instead, and they know that's an easier way out. I don't think they're just going to be like, you know what I'm saying? They're going to accept defeat and just try to work within the system that everybody's putting together.
Well, I've been waiting on that for like 15 years. I haven't seen it yet. Let me know when it shows up.
Yeah.
Let me know when it shows up, because I haven't seen it.
Yeah, white supremacy doesn't take a backseat to anything. So,
in fact, I was talking to, I'm not gonna repeat his name here, but I was actually talking to a guy that's has been high up as far as the DOD and sat there with those generals. And I asked him specifically about Venezuela. And I said, how come they couldn't work out an amicable plan and actually do something different, actually work with the government instead of working against them? And he said, they don't want to see a non-white actually run their country. That's what he told me. I said, you're kidding. It can't be. It can't be that fucking simple. He laughed.
That's what Dr. Mark Lamont Hill, when he was working for Fox News, he said that he walked into Fox News during the Obama election night. And he said, you can hear a pin drop hit the floor. He said he thought somebody died. He said, and he asked what the problem was, and he said Obama got elected.
Yeah. I mean,
but basically the G20 said this is who we want. We don't want the white folks. Yeah, it was over.
That's pretty much what they said, and that's one of the big things and we came there and couped the government in Brazil and put that a straight, I'll use a Brazilian term, branquelo, put a branquelo there, and that's what that is. And you're talking about lives in Rio. This is a city that is mostly, either black or morena, and moreno, and that's what they want down there. And people are ultimately what you're seeing. Some of the movements in Brazil now is to remove that aspect of the game and open it up more to others. And that's a big issue in Brazil right now, and that's right across South America. So definitely what
I think the United said about that is I think the United States has finally run out of money to actually influence these countries. That's how you see all these protests that would normally have gotten squashed 10 years ago. They'd have been squashed. There've been bodies buried in walls, but they've been squashed. But they're not squashed anymore. That means
they're dropping bodies in Bolivia. They're dropping bodies in Bolivia.
What I'm saying is,
they're dropping bodies in Brazil. I can tell you that right now.
They're doing it right now in Bolivia. They did one last night. There was a massacre last night.
And they're doing it in Brazil as well. They're doing it there. They're doing it.
So what I'm saying is, so in other words, that hand is still there. The hand is still there, but the thing is that the grip is not as strong as it used to be.
Yeah, it's too many things happening at once, too many moving pieces at once. This is going back to the 1960s when they were surrounded, by communist uprisings all over the world. They can't extinguish every fire, for lack of a better description. Even in Syria, they didn't try to overthrow Assad. They kind of left him alone to his own devices. But
they're out of money.
Well, not what I'm saying is in comparison to Venezuela and Bolivia, where they put in their own people.
Yeah.
In Syria, they didn't do that. And in Egypt, they didn't do that either.
It's going to actually put out all these fires. It's going to take trillions of dollars that they don't have.
Yeah.
They spent freaking $5 trillion in the Middle East over the 15 years. They don't have that money no more.
That's a ridiculous amount. And look who we are now.
Get down with this new stuff. That's it. Everybody plotting on it already. They just gonna have to get down with it.
The thing is, we're saying that what they're going to have to do. Okay, you haven't examined all the repercussions of the United States being at the top of the heap, and what's that going to reflect back on your domestic economy and the stuff that you're going through now. You haven't even reflected on that. That's going to have severe repercussions coming off that hill. The world going off the dollars going to have severe repercussions in the United States, and a lot of people haven't looked at that. People think I'm cheering for it. Actually, no, I like living in a peaceful United States where the vast majority of people aren't sleeping in the streets, or you can actually walk down the street with your smartphone and not have to worry about it getting snatched out of your hand. That kind of stuff. I like living in the United States like that. If certain circumstances happen, you may not live in the United States anymore. It's going to be a different place.
You may wake up and it'd be like the Soviet Union where you don't have a country.
Basically, yeah. Or you don't have a government. You have a country, you just don't have a government. Or the day you come in, you go to get up and go, your tank is empty, go to buy gas, and you stick your card in, and nothing happens.
Mhm.
And he says, please see the cashier. Okay, you got to come out of your pocket, buddy, because
Mhm.
that stuff don't work no more. That's when the wake up call will come, because right now everybody's crossing their fingers that this boat will not sink, me included.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's so what I'm saying is when I say you need to, it's not just a matter of them getting on board or them getting with the program. Okay, there's ramifications for you getting with the program. That's one of the reasons why they're fighting so hard to hold on to it, because are you willing to accept what's going to happen if you do have to take second place or third place or wherever you fall to? Nobody's examining that. Nagone knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah. And I mean, people have already looked at it and they've seen the prospects that will not look good. This is an area that's why we're scrambling so much. And, it just kills me, the fact that we put a Trump up in here to play this, to front run a lot of it.
Yeah, I know. It is what it is.
It's amazing.
And the Democrats.
It's
Yeah, I don't even want to talk about that anymore, man, because I saw that coming. I said, okay. The thing is, I know the elite really did not want a socialist president for the first time in office. It really didn't. I mean, a true socialist. All the other pro-socialists that we had since Roosevelt, they weren't really socialists. They were just using socialist policy. To have a true democratic socialist for the first time in history, and socialist Democrats have been around since 1850. It's not one of those things that they haven't been there. They have been there, but they've always been suppressed and squashed. To actually put a Jewish socialist on, in the White House, I think that was a bridge too far for them.
The Democrats cut that down, but as we understand, socialism tends to be the grease or the oil of capitalism.
Yeah,
we actually needed a little bit of that, to be quite frank with you.
But the thing is,
they weren't
what's the
willing to go
mix?
that. I agree.
What's the mix? Well, they've accepted that socialism to them is a necessary evil, but actually put it, and the closest they wanted to come was Obama.
Yeah, and we got it, and we got that, and they cut that back to the fattest.
Yeah, he was safe, but Bernie Sanders, that's a little bit too much for them.
Yeah, I totally agree. I have to agree with that. Unfortunately, I have to agree with it.
All right. Well, we got another hangout we need to do, another live stream we need to do. But BJS, check your email. I'm going to send you an email based on that last video he did.
That I did. You
85.
Let me show up. So you're one of those guys that's still mad at me for pointing the Scrags, giving the Scrags game about the IT guys, huh?
Oh no,
man! I got so many emails about, so many comments about that. Why are you sicking them on us? Don't give them no game.
Look outside.
IT games.
Look outside.
Just to me, the
BGS. Hey, BGS.
Yes, sir.
I put a comment in your comment section. I don't know if you saw that.
I might not have. No, I hadn't seen it yet.
Yeah, look out on your front doorstep. There's a bag on fire. Stomp it out.
Yeah, I gotta run. I just dropped in for a second. I had to run to the store and run to the bank. I'll be back in a little bit.
All right.
All right.